Effective Negotiation, third edition from Research to Resource, Ray Feld. Rephase. This new edition continues my original purpose of helping the reader to understand the dynamics of the negotiation process and to be able to negotiate more effectively. In order to achieve this, a number of important changes has been made. First, there is more of a focus on you, the negotiator. In Chapter 2, the notion of being a reflective practitioner in negotiation is introduced. This is the principle that reflecting on what we have done enables us to learn for the future. However, as negotiators, we can take this skill to step further to learn to be reflective while we are negotiating. We can learn to read the dynamics of negotiation better and so manage it more effectively. The two chapters on phases and negotiate script in the previous edition has been streamlined into one, a more focused chapter, and this is now followed by the chapter on being strategic, which is placed prior to the chapters on the three core negotiation tasks. The chapter that explores how we negotiate on behalf of others has been split into two chapters. Chapter 9 deals with the problem of constituency and collectively, while the challenges of negotiating in the workplace and business context are now covered more fully in Chapter 12. There is now an entire chapter on meditation, which is growing in importance as a dispute resolution process, although the focus is still on what negotiators can learn rather than on how to become a mediator. Throughout this new edition, I have drawn on sequence research findings and have consistently sought to apply the research to a practical context. This to end, there is more analysis of cases of negotiation to help consolidate the links between research and practice. The skill tips, negotiation tools, and lists of helpful advice remain important features of the text. I trust that this new edition will not only inform you about how negotiations work, but also encourage you to go out and negotiate. Why isn't negotiation straightforward? This chapter explores some of the complexities of negotiation. After reading the chapter, you should be able to appreciate the pervasiveness of negotiation and why negotiation is so important. Be aware of some of practical implications that arise from the complex process of negotiation. Have a working definition of negotiation that can be used to prepare for and review your negotiations. We negotiate a great deal, far more than we realize. Sometimes it goes smoothly and sometimes it seems difficult. While there is much advice around about how to negotiate and be a winning negotiator, our actual experience does not seem as straightforward as the book suggests. Why? Because negotiation is a complex process. This book grapples with these complexities while recognizing the idiosyncrasies of both the negotiation process and the negotiator. This opening chapter explores some core complexities of negotiation and provides a foundation for later chapters. Although this book will focus on the business context, the principles and skills can be applied in other contexts, such as interpersonal negotiation, sales, or when resolving legal, environmental, and social issues. Very few people are employed solely as professional negotiators. For most of us, it's just an integral, perhaps unrecognized, part of our job. Figure 1.1 shows a map developed from an exercise conducted in the company to identify who has to negotiate with whom over what. It shows that negotiation is deeply entrenched throughout an organization as a way of getting things done. Even this map does not show the full complexity of the internal negotiations, particularly in the production stage, in which managers and survivors are constantly negotiating with each other over scheduling and the use of resources. Figure 1.1, a map of negotiation within a wealth and engineering fabrication company. The advice offered in this book, which is based on good research, is pragmatic and recognizes the difficult context within which negotiations take place. Part 1.1 lists 5 recommendations that are at the heart of many suggestions that emerge throughout the ensuing chapters. There are not 5 keys to success, but are offered, along with the rest of the book, with the aim of guiding the reader's progress towards being a better negotiator. Box 1.1 Advice to negotiators, an upfront summary. Be pragmatic. Negotiation is messy. Negotiation, like politics, is the art of the possible. Remember, at all times, negotiation is two-sided. Others can make choices too. Be inquisitive and acquisitive. Always ask why, what if, and can we get better outcome than this. Create a new script. Be confident in managing the process, but be prepared to improvise. Treat others with respect. This is the only golden rule. What is negotiation? It may seem academic to start with a definition, but to do so highlights a number of key points about negotiation that provide some preliminary but important practical insights. Negotiation is a process by which two parties with differences that they need to resolve try to reach agreement through exploring options and exchanging offers and an agreement. People negotiating. First, negotiation is a process, a sequence of activities, perhaps with an underlying pattern. It is not a single event. Choices are made along the way. It's not mechanical or deterministic. The choices negotiators make affect how agreement is achieved and what that agreement will be. The process of negotiations and how to manage it effectively will be explored in Chapter 4. Second, two parties are needed for negotiation. However, having more than two parties does not alert the fundamental duality of the process. Chapter 9 examines how to negotiation become more complex when constituencies or other parties have an interest in the outcome of the negotiation. And Chapter 11 considers the impact of cultural differences. Chapter 12 explores workplace and business negotiation. Third, there must be differences. If there were no differences, there would be no need to negotiate. However, because there are, we can expect some conflict and competition. The task of unraveling differences is examined in Chapter 6. The parties must be resolve their differences. It is the need that generates cooperation between the parties. They need to settle differences as also helps negotiators to understand their interdependency and their power. The crucial question of who needs who the most. The important aspect of negotiation is explored in Chapter 5. That negotiation involves trying to reach agreement suggests negotiators might not always succeed, and also that reaching a good agreement takes some effort. If an agreement is easily reached, then it is probably not a good negotiation. It's likely that some value has been left on the negotiating table. There are two broad ways by which agreements can be reached. First, the negotiators can explore possibilities and develop options that might resolve the issue. This is the creative aspect of negotiation, and it is how negotiators add value. Various ways of doing this are explored in Chapter 7. Second, and more commonly, negotiators can exchange offers around and between their stated positions, which involves compromise and can be competitive. Competitive negotiation and offer strategies are discussed in Chapter 8. Finally, negotiation results in an agreement, which might be an agreement to walk away. The notion of agreement sounds positive, but nothing about negotiation guarantees that an agreement is a positive outcome. The parties might be agreed, but only reluctantly. While the focus of a negotiation is on reaching agreement, the most important aspect of any negotiation is not the agreement itself, but how it is implemented. The agreement is only a part of the outcome of any negotiation.